Hey guys, Sak here from SAKITECH, and in today's video we are going to be talking about 5 reasons the iPhone 14 Pro Max destroys the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Now I also made a video where I give you 5 reasons the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra destroys the iPhone 14 Pro Max. The link to that video is going to be down below. In this video we're going to use the same format to highlight iPhone's strong points. So let's dive in and get started right away. Alright, so number 1 is something I was not expecting. But after running a few tests, I have discovered that the iPhone 14 Pro Max does have better speakers on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. And again, from my perspective, I'm somebody that listens to news and watches a lot of YouTube videos using the built-in speakers. So this is something directly relevant to me, and I do want Samsung to make better speakers going forward. But to showcase my point, let me have you guys listen to both of these phones side by side, and I'm sure you're going to be able to see that the iPhone 14 Pro Max has better speakers. Now we're going to do the iPhone. Alright, so that is reason number 1. Now reason number 2, the iPhone has a powerful processor, almost 40 to 45% faster. Now let me show you something. I know a lot of people don't think this is a big deal because many of us just think this is benchmarks, but a stronger processor does have merit beyond just benchmarks. So first, let me just show you the benchmark comparison here. I just ran these a couple days ago or something. CPU. So that's what we have here. And then if I go to history, that's what we have here. So you can see both in the single core and the multi-core performance, we do have a significant difference. The iPhone is much more powerful. And justly so, some people say that this is not a big deal because it is simply the benchmarks. Now for some people that use their phones to the extreme, this actually is important. Let me show you an example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my gallery, and on this phone I'm going to go to my photos. And what I have here is, let me delete a couple things over here just to make it all streamlined. So I'm going to delete this. Let me select this. Delete. Okay. So I'm going to go to this video here and this video here. That's a 30-second video recorded by both phones. When I pull this up, you can see on Samsung, this is a 4K file. In fact, let's get some details. It's a 4K file at 30 frames per second. Now with this one, it's the same thing. We have a 4K file at 30 frames per second. You can see it right there. Now what I'm going to do is, in fact, this is something I do many times. I make movies on my phones. So I'm going to go to gallery again, and I'm going to tap on edit right here. All right. And that's going to allow me to create a movie. When I tap on this button, I can create a movie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this clip, the 30-second 4K clip. I'm going to tap on done. And now I'm in the video editor, and I've got 2 clips together. It's a total of 1 minute. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. And I'm going to show you guys which one processes the movie, the 4K movie, faster. It's a very low level example, but it's going to get the point across. So tap on movie, select this one clip, and let me see, create a movie. Okay, and I'm going to tap on plus so I can add it one more time. Video, recently added, same thing, let's say on plus. So now we have a 1-minute movie right here, and I'm going to export this movie on both of these phones, and I want you guys to see which one gets done first. So I'm going to tap on done. Now on this one, I'm going to click on save, and that's going to start to export that movie. But just to make sure it's 100% even, this is going to export 1080p by default. So I'm going to edit this to make sure this one also exports in 1080p. So I'm going to tap on this icon. I'm going to tap on options. I'm going to say export at 1080p. I'm going to tap on done. So now what I can do is I can click save on both of these videos. And I want you guys to notice which one is going to export that video faster. So let me tap here and here. So watch the progress bar. So over here and then over here. So let's see which one is going to be done first. As you can see, the iPhone is in the lead, significantly in the lead. We are at 50%. That's almost done. Done. Okay? So I'm going to let that finish so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. And I'm going to show you one more thing on top of this. Okay? So they both exported a 4K file and put it in a 1080p movie. Now when I go back out to gallery, right here, here's the exported movie for 1 minute. And if I go to the photos here, and here's the exported movie on the iPhone, I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to pull this up. So look at the quality here. This one actually is a bigger file than this one. That's 25 megabytes. That's 110 megabytes. So you're getting better quality and also faster processing, and that's thanks to that A16 Bionic chip. It's faster and it could be useful in the real world depending on use. There are many other examples I can give you guys, but this is just one thing to showcase. We don't want to show you 50 things and make this a 2-hour video. Anyway, let's move on. The next thing I want to talk about has to do with the ecosystem benefits. Now, Apple products, because they all produce the software and the hardware together, work with each other very well. Obviously, there's many Apple products. You got the Apple Watch, you got the tablet, you got the Mac, you got the iPhone. If you have them all, they're going to work together flawlessly, but it is going to be an expensive proposition. But let me just show you one little thing that I can see highly beneficial for many people that, for example, own an Apple TV. So let's say you have an Apple TV and you have an iPhone. Here's an example of how good their ecosystem is. All right, so I'm sitting right over here and my Apple TV is connected to that high definition TV. And I've got my remote control for the Apple TV right over here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Netflix. Okay, let's say I want to watch a movie. I'm going to go to Netflix. And then I'm going to sign in. By the way, here's the iPhone. This iPhone is connected to the same iCloud account that is Apple TV connected to. So basically, as soon as I go to sign in, one thing I hate to do is use the remote control to put in my email and my password. It's a pain in the ass just going all over the place. So let me show you what happens when you have an iPhone. I'm going to say enter email and boom, on the iPhone I got a quick pop-up that says keyboard and password autofill. Let me just bring that down. Look at that. Keyboard and password autofill. Enter text or fill a password on your Apple TV using your iOS keyboard. So I can turn this feature off or keep it, but if I click on it, now I'm able to use this as a keyboard to type in a username on the TV. So look at that. As I type, let me just focus over there. As I type here, it's showing up right there. Now that's just one example of how the Apple ecosystem can make your life easy based on these simple things. With Samsung, because it is part of Android, then there's Google in there somewhere, it is not as seamless and smooth. So again, I can easily type in my password or my whatever from here with an actual keyboard as opposed to going crazy with the remote control. I have to go and select each letter like this. It takes forever. So again, just one example. Now the next thing where the iPhone destroys the S22 Ultra is the higher peak brightness. This thing is significantly more brighter than this one. The peak brightness on this is 1750. On this one it is 2000, but that activates when you're outside. Now if I were to just go to settings right now and go to display and just maximize the brightness, okay, even have the extra brightness option on, that's a pretty bright display. But look at this. I'm going to go over here. Where's that? Display. And I'm going to max this out. And you can see the difference. You can probably not even see what's happening. This is probably so bright, it's washed out. This one is still a little bit visible. But translate this to the outside in bright conditions, and it makes a huge difference, again, for specific people. Myself, for example, let me just bring this back to normal here. I like to ride motorbikes. So what I do is I mount my phone onto the motorbike to get directions. And because mostly I do it in the daytime, it is super bright. And I tested both of these phones. This one was much more clearer, even at the extreme brightness. Now, I'm not saying this is not bright. This is also super bright. This was the brightest until this came out. But the brighter it is, the easier it is to see, and that just helps me out as a rider. Again, it's not going to be for everybody. For some people, that's more than enough. Alright, so let's move on and talk about the final reason. Now, final reason has to do with the overall smoothness, fluidity, and the animation quality on the iPhone as opposed to the Samsung. So let me quickly just show you an example. So I'm going to launch an application, and it came out nice and smooth. Now I'm going to exit that application, and it appears that it came out very smoothly. Now if I do it a little bit faster, it bumps and jumps all over the place. There is no lag, but it doesn't feel consistent for some reason. Now let me launch one more application. Go back here, go back. Let's launch this one, go back. Let's do 3 really quick. Okay, let's do this. All right, now I'm going to do the same thing on the iPhone. I'm going to show you guys how much more consistent and smooth it is. It might be a little bit hard to show it over the video, but I think you'll get the idea. So let's launch one application, put it down. Let's launch another, put it down. Let's launch one more. Let's see this one, put it down. Okay, you see the way it comes up and goes down is all very uniform. So let's do that one more time. Okay, look at that. Let's do this. Allow. Let's do this. All right, look at that. I want to show you a little bit more stuff, by the way. This is just apps launching and coming down. So let's do it over here. Okay, not that bad, but it's kind of jumpy. There's no lag. Anybody that tells you there's lag on Samsung phones, especially the flagship phones, is just lying at this point. But the uniformity and smoothness is here on the iPhone. So let's talk about the dynamic island, for example. Nothing special. It's just a huge hole, animations around it. But look at the animations, the way they do it actually attracts people. So let's launch the clock. Let's do a timer. And let me just swipe this up. Look at the way it just went in there, right? It's very smooth and fluid. And if I were to, let me just kill the volume here for a second. If I were to bring up the music app, play some music, go like that. Now you can see it just doubled up. So you can see how smooth that is. Let's press and hold. Okay, let's just tap on it. Perfect. The animations are really well done. Now, there's no lag over here. This just feels more smooth, more fluid for some reason. It's probably because Apple has control over the software and the hardware. Samsung has to deal with Google, has to deal with Android, and also has to have their own overlay atop Android, which is One UI. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and even learned something. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Drop them down below. Let me know. For now, guys, have a fantastic day.